Appreciate you guys being here. It's good to get back out on the field here this morning and get going. Um, just recapping the weekend, obviously, really a tell of two halves and not being able to gain back the momentum in that game as far as that the middle eight. When you go back and watch the tape, felt like we left some stuff out there and obviously playing the number one team in the country. Um, they made us pay. Obviously, losing the turnover battle 3-0 on the road, it's going to be hard to overcome those. And then them turning those points into, or those turnovers into points right before the half, and then them being able to really like what we've talked about and been good through, 5 games as far as how we end halves and start halves. They really got us on that, right? Scoring the touchdown before half and then getting the ball and going down and scoring. Felt like we responded, had a good plan coming out of halftime, and moved the ball down there, and then turned it over again. So it's really just about our response. And we've talked about that. Have tons of confidence in the guys that we got in the locker room and what their mindset's been since we got back in here on Sunday. I think we've got to learn from it. I think we got to look at one week at a time. So there's nothing better than getting back out there on the field, and winning cures a lot of things. And this league makes you earn it. And so we've turned our focus to North Dakota, who's got a really good football team, really could be sitting here 6-0. I've talked to our guys too. I mean, you can't really look at standings or anything. Most people voting on those things don't watch tape or watch, the things that go on inside. So it's just one game at a time. I think North Dakota's got a really good football team. They're going to be well coached, a lot of familiar faces on that staff that spent a lot of time here. So they're going to be really well coached in all three phases. I think the quarterback's playing at a high level, taking care of the ball, operating that offense the way that they want him. He's efficient. They do a really good job on defense. They're aggressive and will pressure you. So we got to have a good week of preparation to give ourselves a shot out there on Saturday to go out and execute and play well.
Let's go ahead with questions now. Bucky, you can get us started.
Good morning, Nick. How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Going okay here. I'm sorry about that. The big dog decided he wanted to bark, but anyway, I was going to ask the sequence at the end of the half. You've always felt like it was a big deal if you could get the ball last at the end of the half and score, get the ball to start the half and then score again. And obviously, that went against you on Saturday. Psychologically, what does it mean for a team when you can do that? And conversely, like it happened to you on Saturday, what can it do to you when it goes against you like it did?
Well, yeah, I mean that's every team's goal, right? Obviously, we take the ball at the beginning of the game, so we knew we didn't have the ball coming out of halftime, so we weren't going to be able to do that. So how we ended the half, trying to end the ball with the ball in our hand, or take a lot of time off the clock and come away with points and go into halftime with the lead. But they did a good job. I mean, they're the defending national champions and playing in that environment too. Momentum is a real thing in this game, and they were able to capture it right there, right before half. And then we just have to have the mindset of, like we talked about going into that game, there's going to be a run in the game, right? We're not going to most likely shut them out. They're going to have some momentum. The crowd's going to get loud. And then, in any type of great game, you've got to answer those. And, when you're able to do that, the last time we had the ball, it was 10-10 with an opportunity to take a lead. The next time you get the ball, it's 24-10, just like that without touching it. So they did a great job. It's credit to those guys. It's a really good team. And so we've got to learn from that. Situational football was big in that game. I was proud of the way that we, handled the line of scrimmage really on both sides of the ball for the majority of the game. I felt like we ran the ball efficiently. A couple of the plays that were no gain were really probably not good play calls to run, which is on me. And but up front, I felt like, and then we gave up the big one to start the game. Obviously, not how you want to start the game, but then I felt like we did trade a couple possessions there, and we were able to come back and take the lead. And um, but ultimately, it's a 4-quarter game, right? It's 60 minutes, and they did a better job than us.
You mentioned North Dakota's coaching staff, DJ Davis there, obviously, and their new head coach was here for 6 years. What's it like to see a guy, a recent former player like DJ, now in the coaching ranks and apparently doing a pretty good job up there?
No, I mean DJ is one of my favorite people in the world. Um, he called me when he was interviewing for North Dakota. I know, from Coach Griff, who's like family to him. All of us were trying to help him in any way we can, right? Like when you're in this profession, you want to see people you care about get good jobs. And I know the people up there, like that's a good job with good people. DJ's a young coach and in this profession that the sky's the limit for him. Mainly just because of what he's made of and the inside. And I know what type of, I mean, he coached with us, right? And played with
Hmm.
us. And he's going to have his guys. They're going to love him. He's going to be demanding. He does just I'm happy for him. It'll be fun to see him.
And I was going to ask too about you mentioned your running game. I mean, not many people have been able to run on North Dakota State, and you had stretches, particularly in the first half, where it seemed like you were able to run the ball the way you would need to in a game like that. What does it say, not just for your offensive line, but just the entire offense and in general to be able to control the ball at times with your running game up there?
Yeah, I felt like when the game was still, within, when we were back and forth, we were able to run the ball. Obviously, like the sequence that we talked about, 24-10, and then we go down the field and we turn it over on our third play, I think. We hit the explosive to come out and then it's 31-10, just like that, where we got to find a way to get a stop. And then you're down 3 scores, right? So the game plan's got to change a little bit. You're going to have to hit some chunk plays but yeah, I felt like our backs are doing a great job of getting downhill and being one cut backs that play physical. Really, all three of them had plays that were what you're looking for. I think Ed ran the ball extremely hard. Chandler ran the ball hard. Liam ran the ball hard. And then obviously DJ is going to be a part of that run game. And I think like all stats, whether you're throwing or running, I mean, it's a team thing. From our tight ends to the offensive line and to the receivers. So whether we're running or throwing, it takes all 11.
And finally, how'd you come out in the injury front on Saturday?
Yeah, pretty good. Got some guy really hopefully, obviously Andrew Bame didn't play in the game. Um, LaShawn didn't play in the game with both of those groin injuries. They were ramped up doing more this week. And so Schwindeman left the game at tight end there on, I think, the second series. So playing without him, I thought AJ and Miles did a nice job coming in there. And so hopefully we'll be getting some of those guys back here soon.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you, Bucky. All right, let's go to Barry now.
Hi, good morning, Coach. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Good, doing well. I wanted to ask you, after a loss, how do you prioritize what you want to correct? I mean, I imagine big things like turnovers get most of your attention. How do you prioritize what you want to correct after a loss?
I don't think it ever changes after any game, win or lose, right? We just have the same system of grading the plays. You got plays, honestly, probably the same amount in a win as you do a loss as far as the techniques and things that you got to get corrected. So everybody has a system after the game from grading your position, team things that you want to look at, situational football that, everybody from a team meeting standpoint. And then our system on Sundays is the exact same. We're going to go out and make corrections just like we did, when winning 3 weeks in a row. There's a list of 12 to 14 plays that you want to get corrected. Look, the turnovers is, um, you know, as far as that's just, as far as ball security and things like that, you can emphasize it. It's, a focus deal that you just got to have. I mean, fumbles, you don't want them to happen. So it's, making sure like the focus, all of them are a little bit different. Obviously, DJ tucking that ball away, they did a good job, and their D tackle hitting that ball on his hand. So, you show them on tape on where we've got to be better, and then you got to show them on tape where things, throughout, like even in the previous weeks of like this could be a fumble if the right things happen. So, I think the system of corrections is the same win or lose.
CJ Parson has made the switch back to safety for you after being at corner last year, and I wanted to ask you, he's having one of his most productive years, and what have you seen out of CJ this fall that you really like?
Really what we've seen out of him really since like spring and summer and fall camp. He's really just matured, been a different and which happens with more time here. He's really become a leader on our team as far as just his approach, plays extremely hard. He's in the right position. And so, yeah, I think that then the production follows. He's responding well to adversity and in-game adjustments, and so proud of CJ. Just the everything on off the field. Um, just his leadership, everything.
He mentioned that he really likes Coach Moore's system, where when the safeties communicate with the corners will communicate that message back, just to make sure nothing is lost. How important is that for that back end to communicate at such a high level?
I mean, communication in football at every position is extremely important. I mean, I think it's one of those things like most of the time when you're talking about corrections, it's being able to be on the same page, all 11. And when you say that, it sounds kind of easy. Like if you're a fan, like, don't you guys practice these things? Like football is not a stagnant sport offensively or defensively. Like North Dakota is not going to just line up in a defensive front and stay there, right? They're disguising when they're going to come, pressures up front. Offensive line's got to communicate to the tight end. Quarterback's got to make sure that everybody's on the same page, what we're doing. And it's the same with linebackers to D line. Line game is on. Where do we have to be? Safeties and corners are the exact same way. So, high level communication is a separator, and whether you want to be a high level player or not. And it just puts you in position to make sure everybody's on the same page, right? Like usually on defense, if all 11 are on the same page, even if you're not in the best call that you possibly could be in, you're going to manage that play well because everybody knows what they're doing.
Lastly, Coach, I wanted to ask you about, we've learned recently that the NCAA will have one portal window in January, and I wanted to ask you your thoughts about it, and how do you think it will impact a coaching staff like yours, and how do you think it will impact players?
Yeah, if we get some consistency, I don't spend a lot of time, honestly, tell me what the rules are, and that's the way that we'll roll. And everybody's got to do it. So, one portal window, two portal windows. Seems like every year you've got to adjust, and you spend any time complaining or what the dates are or anything like that, like they're not going to change. You just that we know what they are for this year. I think you got to have a detailed, focused plan on how you want to go about those things. And so I think be the first year for it. So one portal window after the season. Obviously, those 15 days will be pretty active in college football.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Barry. All right, Jake, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead with some questions as well.
Coach, just to start for me, I was wondering, what were you most disappointed about? Obviously, aside from the loss, was there something in the game that maybe you were more disappointed about than you should have been based on something you guys could have done or maybe didn't do?
No, I don't think disappointment comes to mind. You know, It's just, I mean, missed opportunities, obviously, and those are there. Those are there on every game, right? Like if you listen to coaches' press conferences, you're probably going to hear about, we beat ourselves or we, left some plays out there. Everybody thinks that, right? So, thing is, you got to do it in the moment, and there's no different in this game, right? Like if you could go back and replay that play over, you know. There's a few that stand out that, maybe led to bigger plays. Obviously, same thing defensively. It's going to be the same thing as a player, and it's going to be the same thing as a coach. I'm sure NDSU said the same thing. Like, we missed a couple of things there, or we mis-ID'd it and they tackled us for no gain. If we would have done this, it would have been a good run. It looks good on paper. It sounds good in the walkthrough, but you got to go out there and execute it in real time. And that's the fun part about our game, right? So, um, to me, the word disappointment didn't ever cross my mind. I was excited to get back in with this group and really test our response. I mean, probably in college football, whoever, um, wins the whole thing, you're probably going to have a loss at FBS and FCS, right? It's about who gets into the tournament and who can continue to grow and who can be playing the best football at the end of the season. Um, and so for us, it's just a mindset of like, we went on the road to a Big Ten school and got beat, and we went on the road to um, the number one team in the country. I think it was Tom or something. I mean, in playoffs, they're 33-2 or something like that in the dome in the playoffs. So those are all against ranked teams. So you put yourself out there and it didn't, we didn't get it done. But we got to learn from that. And I think there's a lot on the tape to say like we're a good football team and that we've got to grow from. And we're 4-2, and the only thing that matters is this week and is going and getting a win. And so like watching our response Sunday, yesterday, some meetings, guys up here in the building, really, no flinch mentality and get back to work.
You mentioned the response, and you've seen this team respond following a loss earlier this year. Do you believe it's going to be a similar type outcome in terms of how you replied to that loss? Now,
Well,
considering
I think our approach will be the same, and up until this point, it has. So that's why I mean, when you're around somebody as much as we're around each other, right? You know the mannerisms, what they're made of. Like I don't question that at all. When you yesterday afternoon leadership council meeting, you're looking at the guys that you're looking at. Derek Harden, right? The hardest thing, and you guys have seen his story. Like Derek Harden's went through a lot tougher things in the last 2 years than losing a game on the road to North Dakota State. Like Derek Harden's going to respond right. The perspective's right with these guys. Um, you know, Bohannick, DJ, both those guys were out last year. They're happy and playing again in week 7. So I think you keep your perspective right, you should be able to respond the right way.